It's time for another edition of Mets Musings.
Hi, this is Ron Darling. This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the '69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. I'm Gary Mack, and what a jam-packed show we have for you this week. We've got lots of stuff, lots of minor league news, so let's get right to it. The Mets finished up a road trip on the West Coast. They're somewhat West Coast. They're going back out. We'll have more about that in a few minutes, but 3-3, 500 road trip, not great, but, you know, if you're going out to the West Coast, you take what you can get, and I guess we have to settle for that. And last night was a tough loss against the Giants. Giants got off to a big lead. The Mets battled back by making contact and hitting the ball. Got the lead, and then the bullpen let them down. Jock Peterson hit 3 home runs, 2 of them to tie up the game very late in the 8th and the 9th, and the Giants went on to win. And a tough loss, but today, even tougher loss is the Thomas Szapucki was called up and got his shot, and he didn't even get out of the first inning, or 1 1/3 innings. Got taken out in the second inning after giving up like 6 runs. He just got hammered all over the ballpark, so it was not a good ending to the road trip. The Mets have a 2-game losing streak for only I believe it's the second time this season. So they'll be coming home, and hopefully they'll correct the ship this weekend against the Philadelphia Phillies, as the Phillies come in for 3, and then Washington is in, and then the Mets hop in a jet and go back out to the West Coast with some stupid scheduling. They're out there. They fly back. They play 6 games at home and then go out for 10 games with the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Angels in an interleague play matchup. We never did this years ago. They used to have a West Coast swing, and they would go out to the West Coast, and that was it. They'd play the Dodgers, they'd play the Padres, they'd play the Giants, and then come back home. But now they have the interleague play, and then the Colorado and Arizona. They should do a trip to Colorado and Arizona, perhaps. Then, and you know, I don't know, throw in something else there, and then go have a trip out to the West Coast as they normally do. This is crazy. They come home for 6 days, 7 days, then they're back out on the coast for 10 or 11 days. So it's just crazy. We'll have more on that next week, hopefully. But a big game, 10 game. You hope they go 6-4 at least. Like to go 7-3. Like to go 10-0. But that's not going to be. Those teams are tough out there. So this road trip, 2 out of 3 in Colorado, 2 out of 3 they lose in San Francisco. So 3-3, they stumble home with a 2-game losing streak. So, that's the way it goes sometime. And in other news, it's a happy belated birthday to Buck Showalter, the manager of the New York Mets. He turned 66 while on the road. And the Mets and New York baseball lost an icon in Joe Pignatano. Yep, Joe Pignatano better known as Piggy, who had the um, the plants and everything, the tomato plants out in the bullpen coach for the Mets for a number of years, passed away this past week. He was, what was he, 92 years old, and died of battling dementia. He was a Brooklyn native, played with the Brooklyn Dodgers, good friends with Gil Hodges. So Joe Pignatano passes away at the age of 92. And if you're watching the video, for some reason it's going haywire here, and we're getting all kinds of pictures up, but let's get out of that and get back to the show. And the Mets and right-hander Chris Bassett avoided arbitration by agreeing to a one-year, $8.65 million contract for the 2022 season. There's also a mutual option attached to the deal. If both sides trigger that option, Bassett will receive $19 million next year for the Metsies. So could have him tied up for a couple of years. And Jeff McNeil left Wednesday's game in the bottom of the third inning after crashing into left field wall while making a stellar catch. The Mets reported McGill has a left knee contusion, which could be confusion, which could sideline a player for 2 to 4 weeks. We cannot afford to lose McNeil at this point in time. Though we are deep, Luis Guillorme will become the everyday second baseman then, and Jankowski will go out and play left field, or he'll be more involved in the rotation as they rest the other guys as well. Maybe he'll be okay. Maybe won't be too bad, and he can come back quicker. Tyler Mcgill has started playing long toss, a standard but important step in his recovery from right biceps tendonitis. The Mets have not given any indication how long they expect Mcgill to be out, but he is not particularly close to returning and will not be activated on Friday, the 27th, the first day he's eligible. They say they think he may need a start or two before, so we're somewhat close to getting Tyler back, but not that close. It's teasingly close. He's throwing at least, and hopefully there'll be no setbacks, and he will be able to make it back and be healthy. I think today we saw the end of Thomas Zappucki as a prospect. He did not show much at all. Maybe they try to convert him into a reliever from here on in. I don't know, but after this performance in today's game, I can't see how they would even consider that, and I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the season he may get his walking papers. But you never know. You never know what their plans could be, what they could use him for. They could use him just to, take a spot in the bullpen or the starting rotation in Syracuse, and just leave him there for another year, see if he can improve. He's 2 years, I believe, now off of Tommy John surgery, was pitching well in Syracuse, so but his time in the majors has not been good, and there's been no signs at all. I mean, he's just gotten hammered at every chance he's had, and he's had a couple now, so, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's take a break and come back with some other Mets news. We're going to go down on the farm, and lots of information down there. Not all good, but, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I'll be back right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a PhD in life through baseball? Welcome to Baseball PhD, a tour company for your brain. 30 major league teams, 100 places to see. Let's touch them all as we make the road trip of a lifetime.
Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/MetsMusings, on Twitter at MetsMusingsGM, the Instagram is MetsMusings, and on YouTube at MetsMusings Mack. Wish to be a part of the show? Give us a call at 516-619-6341. Time to go down on the farm and let's see what's going on down there. It's not all good news. It's it's not great if you look at it, but keep in mind that the whole idea is to develop players, and sometimes the win and loss record does not count. Syracuse going into tonight's action, 15-27, 11 games back. They are in last place in the International League Eastern Division. Binghamton, the Binghamton Mets are 13-26. They are 13 games back, and they are in last place in their division in the Sally League. Is that the Sally League? No, they're in the Eastern League, I believe. Brooklyn Cyclones are 18-19. Not bad. 5 games back, and they are in third place in their division, and they are losing tonight. So that record could change as well. St. Lucie is 26-14. They are the bright spot in the Mets farm system. 4 games up in first place in the Florida State League. So congratulations to the St. Lucie Mets. Now, who had some? Let's take a look at some of the prospects and other players to look at. Mark Vientos had another good week. He went 5 for 18 with a pair of doubles last week. Jake Mangum, former Cyclone, led Binghamton with an 8 for 19 series, including a pair of triples. His big week culminated with a promotion to Triple A, and maybe we might see Mangum if McNeil's out for any period of time as another backup outfielder. Outfielder Carlos Cortez has been moved from AAA Syracuse to AA Binghamton. Like Cortez, Quinn Brody would also be assigned from Syracuse to Binghamton. Part of their reasoning is that there is a glut of outfielders at Syracuse, and they'll get more playing time in Binghamton, and they've struggled a little bit in Syracuse. So, but again, there's a glut, and there's an opening, and there's some more openings in Binghamton, so they'll get more playing time. Francisco Alvarez appears to be emerging from his slump as he has extended his hitting streak to a modest 7 games. But he has not hit a home run since April 17th, I believe it is. Wyatt Young continues to hit no matter what level he's put in. Ronnie Mauricio's power has begun to show himself as he is hitting .263 for the month of May, and he hit his 6th homer of the year so far, and just is starting to have some home run games back to back, and he's moving up. We kind of forgot about him a little bit with all the talk about Lindor and everything, but Mauricio's moving. He's a big kid, and he's only 22 or something, but he is starting to move up the ladder and could be If I were the Mets, I'd consider either moving him to third base next year. I know they have Brett Batty. I know they have Mark Vientos. But Vientos, they've been playing at first base, third base, and the outfield, trying to get a feel for him. Again, he's, known as more of a batter, not a glove man. But Mauricio's good from both sides. It appears, and he's hitting. So we'll see. Maybe they can move him to another position where he'd be more valuable. On a sad note, the Mets have released outfielder Antoine Duplantis. Duplantis, 25, was the Mets' 2019 12th round draft pick out of Louisiana State. He struggled the past two seasons with Double-A Binghamton. This season, Duplantis hit 132 with a double, triple homer, and 7 RBI over 26 games. I'm sorry to see him go. What a great name, Antoine Duplantis. A couple of years ago, when he was with Brooklyn, saw him play there, and that's why I became a favorite of his. He had a big night that night, got a couple of big hits, and my buddy Jeff and I, Jeff Cohen of Baseball and Barbecue, he became like our favorite Cyclone player a couple years ago because we thought it was just a great name, Antoine Duplantis. Sorry to see him go. Maybe he'll hook on with another team and find some success. The Jalen Palmer hit 3 home runs last week as Brooklyn took 4 of 6 from Hudson Valley, and Jalen Palmer, another talent on that lower last two teams, low 2 rungs of the farm system. And the Mets have also announced that right-handed starters Mike Vassell and Carson Seymour have been promoted from low A St. Lucie to high A Brooklyn. Both pitchers were drafted by the Mets in last year's draft. Vassell is 22. He made 8 starts for St. Lucie, going 3-1 with a 1.80 ERA. And Seymour is 23, started 4 games, made 3 relief appearances for St. Lucie. Overall, he's 4-0 with a 1.19 ERA. He has been gradually building up innings and increasing his pitch count. He has pitched at least 5 innings in his last 4 starts. He threw a season-high 89 pitches in his last start. So those two gentlemen have been moved up, Mike Vassell, Carson Seymour, and they could be 2 guys to watch if they continue to progress the way they have through the system. Okay, let's take another quick break, and we will wrap up this short but I hope informative edition of Mets Musings in just a moment. No guest this week. We talked to Rich Baxter a couple weeks ago about the Phillies didn't want to be repetitive, so no guest this week. Working on one for next week, so we'll hope that comes a bit. But I'll be back right after this. 516-619-6341. That is the comment voicemail hotline if you'd like to be a part of the show, and drop us a line, leave us a comment or a voicemail question, anything at all. Call that number 516-619-6341, or go to MetsMusings.com and click on that widget in the middle of the screen, and that's a speak pipe, and you can leave a voicemail right through your computer through your computer's microphone. Or if you prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, send us an email at metsmusings@gmail.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/MetsMusings. And if you'd like to help out the show, check out our Patreon page. Check out the campaign at patreon.com/MetsMusings. All right, and we are back, and as I said, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this week's show. As we said, Mets have a 6-game homestand as they fly back to play the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals, and they'll head back out to the West Coast then again. Crazy scheduling, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So off day, we're recording this on Wednesday evening. Off day tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. The Phillies invade Citi Field, and this is the kind of games the Mets have to win. You want to win those division games, so we will see what happens with the upcoming games that they'll be in. All right, as I said, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative, and I hope you'll come back next week and listen to another edition. And I want to I want you all to please, if you're watching on YouTube, please go and hit the like button and the subscribe button so you'll always know when another edition of Mets Musings is coming out. The same thing holds true for Apple Podcasts or Google Chrome, Google Play, Castbox, wherever you listen to the podcast. If you're listening just to the audio, please hit the subscribe button on whatever device that you're using, and you'll know whenever an edition comes out. And we also helps me to grow the community and expand to new listeners. So please do that. It'd be greatly appreciated. And so that's going to do it. And until next time, remember to keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go, Mets. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.